Good evening and welcome to Sandringham College's virtual open night. My name is Amy Porter and I'm the college principal. So I'd just like to welcome you all here tonight to our virtual open night. We've got several presenters who are going to provide you with information about our college. So obviously myself, some of you might know me. I'll talk a little bit about my background. I'm not going to talk for too long because the really interesting information comes from my staff. Vivian McKelwey, who is the Assistant Principal Head of School for 7 to 9, will also talk tonight. Mel Gall, who's the Head of Teaching and Learning. David Hall, who is the Head of the 10 to 12 School. We'll have a brief session on the 10 to 12 School for parents interested in enrolling for other year levels. And we'll also have in the room, just so you know, we have the Head of Music, we have the Head of HPE, Health and Physical Education and Sports Academy, we have the Head of Year 7, we have the Head of the Sub-School, we have our School Registrar, and we also have Aaron Brown, one of our really amazing STEAM and digital technology teachers. So just a little picture of Denon there and Jake, who is our Head of Sub-School. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about my philosophy and my background. I have worked in some of the best state schools in Victoria. I have a master's in educational leadership and my passion is really teaching and learning. So when I came to the school, my aim was to really make this a place of excellence for learning and also ensure that every young person that comes through our doors can leave us with the skills and the knowledge necessary to have a successful life, not only in the workplace, but also when they go, that they're young people of great character, who are good partners, good parents, and good members of our community. What is really exciting that's happening in our school that I want our community to know about is that we have been given $500,000 to begin a new master plan to rebuild the school. And we have a commitment from the Andrews Labor government for a new master plan and a rebuild of the whole of Sandringham College. So I just thought I'd share with you our master plan. I'm convinced there'll be an infrastructure boom coming out of the COVID-19 situation we're in, and that we will receive money to begin our master plan either this year or early next year. And if we don't, I will get my wonderful parent community and staff and students to rally around again, because that's really how we got the money in the first place, was the wonderful work of our community. So as you can see, it's pretty much a rebuild of the entire school. We are lucky, our school's been serving this community since 1956, and it's done a really wonderful job, but it is time for some new buildings that are 21st century focused and help our kids to learn. One of the things we are going to do is we're looking at having a new campus structure with a dedicated Year 9 campus here at Bluff Road. The reason for this is that we know that Year 9 is across the state and across Australia a year where students lose levels of engagement with curriculum and with schooling in general. And as you can see, some schools that have dedicated Year 9 campuses or dedicated Year 9 programs are some of the best schools in the state. So certainly Albert Park Secondary College and McKinnon Secondary College produce exceedingly good VCE results and have really good outcomes around wellbeing. So we're interested in preparing and providing a curriculum that is integrated, that is engaging, that looks at 21st century learning skills around collaboration and creativity, that is focused on our young people going out and being ready in the world. So one of the things we're going to do is build a cafe, and all of our young people are going to work in that cafe to develop catering skills and hospitality skills. So when they go to uni or TAFE, they can get a part-time job and they've already got some qualifications behind them. And I'm happy to talk to anybody about my philosophy around that. To begin off this new Year 9 program, next year we're introducing a whole new semester-based Year 9 program called Jimbana. So Jimbana is an local Indigenous word. It means meeting place and place of learning. It's a semester-based program. It's inquiry-based. It's focusing on student voice and student agency, and it's really trying to re-engage our Year 9 and also prepare them for the final 3 years of their learning, where they need specific skills around being independent learners and about being able to take responsibility for their own pathways and choices, and we want to really skill them up and prepare them better so that they're feeling less stressed, which we know Year 12s do, and we think this gives us a really good opportunity to prepare them for those final few years. I'm going to now show you a video that we've made of our school to give you a little bit of insight because you haven't been able to be here to see our school in person, and then I'm going to hand over after this video to Mel Gall, who's our Head of Teaching and Learning.
So my name is Melinda Gall, and I'd like to thank you for taking time out of your busy night to be with us here tonight. I'd just like to remind you that we are taking questions. So if you do have a question, you can type that into the question and answer bar, and one of our staff here will try and answer that as we're going. So I'm just going to take a few minutes to talk about our teaching and learning program here at school. Let's try and get to teaching and learning. So this is the model that we use at Sandringham College, and it's a very clear structure to improve student learning outcomes for every single student in our school. It's evidence-based. It ensures that the children are at the centre of that, and it leaves nothing to chance. And we call this our learning architecture. The first stage of our learning architecture is that we identify who we have in our classroom. We understand who our learners are, and we use a broad set of data to determine that. So we use the usual data sets that students would have been exposed to at primary school, so NAPLAN, On Demand, PAT, all of that data. And so we do that, that's really important to us because we need to understand who our students are, what their levels are when they come to Year 7, and then that helps us target our teaching. The second important part of the learning architecture is in our mapping. And what that does for us is that guarantees a viable curriculum. So we ensure that every student in our school is being delivered the same quality curriculum. The third aspect of our learning architecture is when we look at our assessment tasks. And what is really important to us is that we have a tiered assessment tasks. So that means that every single student is being challenged. We have differentiation built into every assessment task, which means that at the broadest level, every student should be able to apply their knowledge and skills. Many students will get to the second level of that complexity, where they're able to analyse and examine and make inferences, problem solve. And the students who are really needing to extend themselves, our critical thinking students, will get to that third level of complexity, where they're really able to justify and reason and evaluate. So in every assessment task, in every subject, in our Victorian curriculum from 7 through to 10, there's those 3 levels of complexity in each assessment task. The next level in our learning architecture is what we do every single day in the classroom, and this is our instructional model. What's really important to us is that we are making sure that we have high-impact teaching strategies, evidence-based high-impact teaching strategies that our teachers are ensuring that they're delivering to your students, to your children. So we have a notion of a gradual release of responsibility. And what that means is that we are empowering each of our students in their learning. So as the lesson progresses, the focus goes from the teacher, who presumes most of the responsibility at the beginning of the lesson, to just working together with the students. We do it together, to a collaborative environment where students work together and the responsibility starts to be moved to the students, to an independent learning situation. This might be over a period of one lesson, it might be over a period of a week, or it might even be longer. But the ultimate aim in our instructional model is that each student gets to that independent learning, where they're able to show mastery of skills on their own. There's probably a lot more questions that you could ask about teaching and learning, and I'm really very happy to talk to you about them when you come for a tour later in the year, or even if you want to type some of those into the question and answers now. But I'm going to hand over to our wonderful 7 to 9 campus principal, Vivian McElwee, who's going to talk a little bit more about the program for our 7 to 9 students. Thank you.
Thank you, Mel, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. With great pleasure that I am here to speak with you tonight. I have the privilege of being the 7 to 9 campus principal. I've actually been at the college for quite a long time, more than 15 years now, and have watched this college grow and evolve into the 21st century. And this is certainly a really exciting time to be part of Sandringham College. Of course, you saw Amy Porter speak to you before, our college principal, and hear the wealth of experience that she has. And it's her vision for teaching and learning that has helped with the growth and the development of what we are experiencing at this fine college at the moment. So this is our leadership structure. And can I just say to you that students are our core function. So everything that we do is designed around the needs of our teachers and our students, and delivering the best possible outcomes for your child for the future. So Amy's role, of course, is to be leading the vision for the college, and she leads right across the college, and she's very much a hands-on principal involved in all aspects of the college, which is just fantastic. And it's a tribute to her for the improvement that we've been seeing over these last 3 years. Of course, we have campus principals, myself on the 7 to 9 campus, and Mr. David Hall, who you'll see a little bit later, in the 10 to 12 campus. And underneath that, we have quite a lot of amazing teachers that help us support the learning of our students. So we have sub-school leaders for 7 to 9 and 10 to 12. And at the 7 to 9 campus, we have, of course, the student managers. We call them student managers at this college. Some schools call them head of house. Some schools call them year level coordinators. We call them student managers. And we have one, of course, for year 7, 8 and 9. And at the senior school, we have the same, but we actually call them program managers. And that's because students are divided up into a vertical structure, which works incredibly well at senior school, because a lot of year 10 students are doing year 11 subjects, year 11 students are doing year 12 subjects, etc. So therefore, they have program managers that look after the wellbeing of those students and work, of course, with you, the parents, as well. Of course, you've just met Mel Gall. She's the Assistant Principal of Teaching and Learning, and her main role is to work very closely with the staff to ensure that that instructional model is being delivered, working with the staff, with the teaching and learning, with our learning architecture, and making sure that the students are actually being able to achieve the best that they can be. Of course, we have learning specialists underneath that as well, for pedagogy and practice, for numeracy, for literacy, for data, all of those areas that's so necessary in schools in the 21st century, and domain leaders, head of science, head of maths, head of English, etc. And of course, our amazing teachers who are exceptional and so passionate about their teaching in the classroom. And of course, we have a new position that's just being filled at the moment, and that is a new Assistant Principal of Wellbeing. And that Assistant Principal will be working directly with the wellbeing team. So we'll be really excited when that commences next term. What is really important, and it doesn't matter what year level your son or daughter might be moving into, is that partnership that we have between us and you, the family. Sometimes when you move out of primary schools, you start to feel as though you're losing contact with the school. Your children are growing up, and chances are they probably might want you to have less contact with the school, but we don't believe that that really should happen. We need you to be part of the learning, the growing, the evolving of your child as they go from being a young person through to being a young adult. So it's working in partnership between the student, the family and the school. And we ask you to make sure that you maintain that. And that can be done through lots of ways, and not just through our PTF and all of our working bees, etc., but you actually being involved, staying in communication with all of the teams within our college. What's really important to us are our college values. And we expect our staff and our students to model those values at all times. So certainly our assemblies reflect the teaching of those values and what they represent. So respect, we have respect assemblies, and at different levels it means a different area of learning. Integrity, the moral choices that kids face as they grow in this 21st century, and the challenges of that. But what's another really important one to us is the word excellence. So excellence to us isn't just about the A's and the A pluses. Excellence is actually having your personal best, achieving your personal best. And if you're a student that's been getting average C grades, it's getting that B. It's being able to jump higher, run faster, being able to achieve something even greater than you have before. And that to us is what reflects excellence. Of course, creativity. We've always been very well known as a creative school, and nothing changes there. But creativity isn't just about music, dance, acting. You can have very creative classrooms of all sorts. Maths teachers give creative areas of teaching. So that is creativity in the college as one of our core values. And of course, community. And I mentioned community before. We expect our college community to be all part of this one important big family. Of course, we have the school-wide positive behaviours as well. School-wide positive behaviours is something that's just been recently implemented in the college, and we have a matrix that students will be delivered. School-wide positive behaviours is something that we have developed with our whole community, and it sets out the expectations of what we expect in all areas of the school, whether it be in the learning environment, out in the yard, out on the bus. And of course, we reward and recognise students for those positive behaviours. And this is something that's evolving through our college. And you might say, why do you need a positive behaviour structure? You know, is there a behavioural problem within the school? Well, certainly not. In fact, when you do get the opportunity to come and visit us and see our fantastic classes in action, you'll see it's a really wonderful place, and our kids really focusing and working hard and enjoying the classrooms and the environment of the college. But of course, every student requires structure and has to know where the boundaries of expectations are. And it's great to have a structure that is evident and visual, and that of course is around inside all of those classrooms, what those expectations might be. So I'll move on to Compass now. So Compass is our learning management system, and you might already be familiar with Compass, might be in the school that you're currently at, or you might have a different learning management system. But we really use Compass a lot. We use it well. And Compass is really important to us because it's our method of communication with parents. So you as a parent should be able to jump onto Compass when you get your access. At any time, you can actually see whether your child's in the classroom, whether they were late. If they were late, what time they actually arrived in that classroom. You could actually see their learning tasks, be able to see what homework is owing, what comments might have come up there from teachers with regards to learning tasks. You'll be able to see any positive posts there that might be from teachers. You might be able to see our news feed that will tell you if there's a free dress day coming up, a pupil-free day, information to do with the college. And of course, over these last difficult 6 or so weeks with the COVID-19, Amy Porter, our college principal, has been constantly putting up posts and informing our community via Compass as to what was happening and when we were returning, and of course assisting with remote learning. So Compass is a really great tool that we use a lot. So this is an example of a student's compass that you might see. As you can see there, this fine young man has been given a green post, and that means that that's something from his teacher congratulating him for his behaviour or an achievement, or for just being kind in general. And of course, when this young person gets up in the morning, they actually check their device and they can see their timetable. They can see whether their teacher is absent, whether there's a room change, what classes they've got. So there's lots of information there for students as well. It's also where our reporting system is delivered, so you can actually go on and you'll be able to see student outcomes and results there through Compass. So you will get you'll get your own log on, and all students have a separate log on to their parents as well. This is also a great method of communication. You can email the school can email you, but of course what we really do like is if there are any issues, you go back to the old-fashioned way of picking up the phone and giving us a call, talking to the student manager or whoever the relevant person might be, the wellbeing team, etc., and talking to us, communicating directly. But of course, email through Compass as well is another option. Speaking of wellbeing, we have a fantastic wellbeing team. So we have Penny Power from our 7 to 9 campus, who is our Student Wellbeing Coordinator, and Bree Gerritsen for our 10 to 12 campus. Their main role is to work with students in need. Might be students with high anxiety, they might be family issues, they might be struggling, they might need some extra services. So these fine ladies can refer them on to any other services that might be needed, or they might refer on to our college mental health practitioner, Gulzabeen. And Gulzabeen's quite new to our college, and it's great to have a full-time mental health practitioner to be able to refer to. So this is an amazing team. They work very closely with the student managers and the sub-school leaders, and of course the principal team as well, to provide the safest and best support for all of our students. We also have a student engagement coordinator, Simone Garraway, and Simone's role is mainly to work with students, PSD, which is the program for students with disabilities, or working with students who need individual learning plans, or even students who might not be funded but need learning profiles, students with special learning needs. She arranges meetings with all the correct services, our SSO team, which is the school psychologists from the Department of Education, and any of the other services, including some of the other counsellors that might need to come in. Simone might work hand in hand with those as well. So another important person for you to get to know. If you're coming into the college at junior level, We have 2 languages that are offered here. We have French and Chinese in Year 7. You'll be asked in your application to choose whether you'd like to do French or Chinese. So at the moment, French is slightly more popular than Chinese, but both of those are offered at the college. Now, if you are somebody who would like to pursue a different language, because maybe it's something that you speak at home, that you'd like your student to continue studying, we greatly support that happening and will help you enrol in the Victorian School of Languages. That might involve you doing a distance education course online, or it might involve you going to a Saturday morning school. Of course, languages are highly regarded in the VCE, so we like to encourage all of our students to continue with languages, whatever that might be. We certainly, apart from on-site French and Chinese, we have students doing lots of different languages because they might be spoken at home: Swedish, Hebrew, Italian, any of those can be arranged through the Victorian School of Languages. Sport, yes, of course, we have sport. Year 7 and 8, they have weekly competitive sport where they all go out, everyone gets the opportunity to compete at all different levels, and we compete against other schools in our region. And our Year 7s go out on a Tuesday and our Year 8s go out on a Friday afternoon. Of course, those students also do health and PE, physical education, on site. And of course, that also has theoretical components. The health course at junior school also follows the Respectful Classrooms curriculum. And so that's also delivered within our health area. From Years 9 and on, it can be select in for sport. So students might still be involved in some of the round robins and the athletics, but they might select into that. We think students by this stage often are doing high-level club sports outside of school, and of course we support those things as well. Of course, we have the usual athletics and swimming carnivals for all year levels, right through both of our campuses, our whole college. Athletics, swimming carnivals, round robins, lots of opportunity for sport if you want it, and also selectives into the VCE for VCE subjects such as PE and sport and recreation for students at senior school. We also have our 2 wonderful academies. So certainly our dance academy, quite unique. There aren't many schools, of course, that have a dance academy. Specialist training and coaching, application by audition only for the dance academy. And students are timetabled into their classes are timetabled into the normal week. They're usually doing 6 periods. They don't do the sport and PE classes because of course, the specialist training for dance requires them to use different muscle groups than some of the sporting activities. So they have specialist teachers come in and train them. Classical ballet, jazz, contemporary, hip hop classes all available. And of course, that goes right through to Year 10. And then those students continue with classes as well as taking on VCE and VET components. They also do Pilates, strength and conditioning, and all kinds of optional classes. So now I'm actually going to pass over to our head of our sport academy, Mr. Adam Patterson. So he's going to be speaking with you about our wonderful sport academy. So thank you, Adam.
Thank you very much, Viv. It's great to be speaking tonight, and sport's a big passion of mine. So Sport Academy is an exclusive subject which goes across 7 to 9, and it says below that it is entry by practical testing. So we go through fitness testing, but also looking at the individual and how they cope in situations as well. And then decide upon one class for the Year 7 through to Year 9. So Sports Academy also has the luxury of having a unique uniform, different from the normal sports uniform that we wear at Sandringham College. Units that we cover as part of practical and theory includes fitness and fitness programs unique to the individual, mental health, and also introducing mindfulness as a tool, coaching and looking at coaching improvement, sportsmanship, fair play, and also etiquette, and also injury management. At Sandringham College this year, we've introduced a football academy, which ran last year and is hoping to run again this year as well. We've had access to specialist coaches and also people who play and coach in AFL. As part of Sports Academy, we also offer an exclusive basketball academy, which has started this year, and has been really successful. I'm going to throw to David Peters, who is a representative from Chase, who helps to organise and run the Basketball Academy at Sandringham College.
Thanks, Adam. Hi, everyone. I'm David, one of the coaches from our Sandringham College Basketball Academy. As Adam said, we've had a really excellent first year, or first term, I should say, at Sandringham. We had 24 students enrol so far, and we're hoping to get quite a few more across term 3 and term 4. We're really looking forward to 2021. We think that'll be a huge year for us, just building our academy and looking to grow. We accept students that are beginners at the basketball level all the way up to the highly representative level type players. Every student gets 2 sessions per week, and that runs for 32 weeks of the year across the 4 terms. And all students that join also receive a uniform and a Sandringham Academy bag. So we're really looking forward to next year and happy to answer any questions. Thanks, Adam.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, just going to give you a break from us talking to you for a moment. We're going to share with you a wonderful dance video. So I invite you to sit back and relax and watch just a short 2.5-minute clip of some of the amazing work of our Dance Academy and our dance programs. Okay, so welcome back. So some of you will be really interested in some of our support or extension programs available at Sandringham College. So first of all, our SEAL program. Now, our SEAL program is an extension class. An entry, of course, is via a test. Unfortunately, if you didn't sit the test for Year 7 for 2021, the test has passed. But because of some of the situation that we've all been facing and not being able to access our primary schools for information, we are trying really hard to work with EduTest to maybe run another test a little bit later in the year for those people who missed out on the SEAL examination. Now, of course, if you did miss out on the SEAL examination and we aren't able to test you, that doesn't mean that your opportunity to be part of the extension program has completely gone. We are regularly testing our students. We are looking at student levels. And as places become available, we do move students in and out at different year levels, or maybe even mid-year sometimes, depending on availability. So don't despair. We will do all we can to provide the very best opportunity for your son or daughter with regard to SEAL. We have an amazing SEAL program. We have an English stream for SEAL. We also have a separate maths stream for SEAL, and each of those English or maths streams, all of those students also do extension, humanities and science, because we believe it's very important to prepare our students for the VCE, that those students are being extended in those areas. And there are some students, of course, who might be doing the whole English and maths stream and a combination of all of those. So that will depend on the results that come through the testing. Or you might have a student that might be performing at 2 years or below where we would like them to be at their year level. And we certainly have plenty of opportunities for support for those students. So we have an advanced program. Those students who are in the advanced program don't do a language. They don't do the Chinese or French. We do believe that we would rather put that time in improving the literacy in our own language, English, to help and support those students. So in numeracy as well, we have a 3-teacher model where we might have an additional teacher that removes students in small groups. And whilst they're working in the classroom, they're working separately in that classroom with an additional teacher. So all kinds of specialist areas for supporting students as well. And of course, we are introducing for the first time a music scholarship for our gifted students. And you'll be hearing more about that from our music coordinator, Mr. Luke Devonish, very soon. Speaking of which, I'm going to actually hand over now to Mr. Luke Devonish to talk to you all about our amazing music program. Thank you, Luke.
Good evening. It's an exciting time to be a music student at Sandringham College. The music department is in the process of building the ensemble program, offering instrumental lesson scholarships to students enrolling in Year 7 in 2021. I've made a video that's going to play at the end of the presentation this evening with more information about the scholarships. So I'll let that hopefully answer a few questions, but I will also be hanging around afterwards as well if you have extra questions on top of that. And you can, So in terms of the music classroom, music is taught in 3 parts at Sandringham College. We have the music class, which runs from Year 7 to 8, and we have a really strong Year 11 and 12, Year 8 to 12. We have a very strong VCE and VET course in Year 11 and 12, which is fantastic. The second part is instrumental lessons. We offer instrumental lessons on all of those that you can see there: voice, piano, guitar, a wide range of woodwind and brass instruments, as well as percussion. And our third stream is ensemble, which runs after school. And we have a great range of ensembles: concert bands, jazz bands, contemporary ensemble, guitar ensemble, special vocalist ensemble, and choir. And in Year 7, for those enrolling in 2021, we encourage students to be involved in the instrumental lessons and the ensembles that we have. Music at Sandringham is practical focused and engaging, and gives students the opportunity to create and perform both in school and out school in the wider community. Thank you for the time.
Hi all, it's good to see you. The senior school at Holloway Road is around about 400 metres due south of our Bluff Road campus, and under more regular circumstances, it's home to around about 500 Year 10, 11 and 12 students. Although for some of you, Year 10 may seem like a fair way away, I can assure you that does creep up on you, and it'll be on you sooner than you think. At the Holloway Road Senior Campus, we offer a diverse range of core Year 10 elements through to an array of vibrant semester-based electives. For our students in Year 11 and 12, we offer the Victorian Certificate of Education, the VCE. We facilitate on and off-site vocational education and training, so VET opportunities, as well as the Victorian Certificate of Applied Learning, or VCAL. The VCE has a wider range of subjects. You can see some of them on your screen there for Units 1, 2, 3 and 4. from the compulsory English offerings to chemistry, theatre studies, business management, and everything in between. There's a real range of things that you'll be able to access at the senior school in the VCE years. VCAL is a senior level certificate for students seeking a hands-on practical approach to their learning. It is at its core applications of numeracy and literacy with a real personal development focus. We are actually currently in production phase of an online subject expo that will help explain all of the offerings that we have at the senior school. It's many and varied, and to go through it now would take a great deal of time. With a lot of media magic, I'm hoping that the expo will be published online on our website early June. It'll explain a whole lot more about the VCE requirements, about our VET offerings, and of course our VCAL program. So with that, I'm going to hand you back to Vivian McKelvey.
Thank you. That was Mr. David Hall, who is the campus principal of the 10 to 12 campus. So a couple of important things for you to know about the college. We have BYOD, and that is bring your own device, of course. We prefer that you have a laptop. And any sort of laptop is fine, PC or Mac. The college can't really support Chromebooks, but certainly apart from that, we are quite device agnostic. So we prefer you don't have iPads. We did have an iPad program. We're actually phasing out iPads. We don't believe that they are the best tool for the 21st century for our students for their learning. What is also important about the use of devices at Sandringham College, we know that different schools have got different philosophies about this, but we believe very strongly that whilst the VCE is still handwritten, and it is, and even subjects like software development and computing applications are handwritten examinations, we believe students still should be writing in the classroom. Yes, we want them to be 21st century learners, and yes, they need to use devices, but we encourage all of our teachers and our curriculum to reflect the need for our students, apart from needing, the dexterity in their hand to be able to hold a pen for a 3-hour English exam in Year 12. They also need to be able to spell, self-correct, and be able to write in those examinations. So most of our classes, depending on the day, depending on the subject, our students will spend 60 to 70% writing and 30, 40 odd percent using a device. Devices are important, it's part of who we are, but as I said before, whilst the VCE is certainly still so strongly written, and at the moment that's the way it is. There has been some VCAL have tried to put NAPLAN online and have experimented for a couple of years on that, and it still hasn't been mastered yet. So whilst that hasn't been mastered, we will be certainly still supporting the use of pen and paper, as well as teaching our students the digital technology skills that they need for the future. And we do have electives in digital technology and VCE subjects in software development, gaming, and of course applications and computing and coding. Phones, of course, the government of the day brought in a regulation on students not being allowed to have phones in the classroom during the day. And we had already brought in this rule, this policy, the year before. These days, we know our students are quite connected and attached to their phones. They can be so distracted by it. We know ourselves, we can be so distracted by it. So certainly students can bring their telephone in the morning and lock it in their locker, but it's not allowed to come out during the day. And already we have seen a big change in the buzz around the campus at the moment. Students communicating, talking to each other, and not texting each other, and they're just sitting 10 metres away, playing again, basketball, handball, all of those things. And of course, I'm a great believer that students' postures are deeply affected by the way they're always over a device, and certainly our eyesight can be affected as well. So we are quite supportive of this, and we're very firm with ensuring students do not bring their phones into the classroom. If they need to call, then they can come to the office at any time and call home. If you need to call, then certainly call the office and we will come and get your son or daughter. And of course, that's also very important. If you need to call them or they need to call you, there might be something wrong and the school might need to be knowing what's going on so that we can support the wellbeing of your son or daughter. So it has lots of important aspects to not having their phone out during the day. Apart from government policy, it's certainly better for all through. Zones, just always mention this because zone is always a question we get when we're on tours. So certainly we don't enforce our zone. All schools have zones from the department, but we don't enforce our schools. So we are actually going to rebuild when we get the wonderful money from the government, and we hope to be able to house 1,300 students. We don't have 1,300 students, and we actually really don't believe we actually want 1,300 students. So whilst that is the case, then we do not enforce our zones. Whether or not you are the right person for our school and we are the right school for you is something we need to determine, and you need to determine what is the best school for your son or daughter, and is this the right school for you? Are you the right family to be part of our community too? So that's more important to us than your postcode location. Of course, the only thing that gets in the way there is when our class is still up. If you are in our immediate zone, you are of course entitled to be at our school. Once our classes are full, that can be a little bit more complicated. So that's more the process for enrolment. As far as zones, we don't actually enforce them, but it is dependent on the capacity of our school. So getting near to the end now of our presentation tonight, a few important things I just wanted to add. Certainly there are lots of amazing other extracurricular opportunities that you can embark on as a family at Sandringham College. So we have clubs during the day to lunch times for our students. We have hip hop clubs, we have chess clubs, we have art clubs, we have music choirs and bands that even if students aren't studying music as a subject, they can still be part of that. We have virtual reality clubs, we have storybook clubs, we have a maths club, which is really popular. Kids really enjoy that. Of course, we have an amazing robotics club, and that happens at lunch times as well. Our robotics club is loved by the students, and it's been highly successful. Our students have been competing in robotics for several years now. We've been finalists in the Australian Championships several years in a row, and even 3 years ago, our students represented Australia in Copenhagen. So that was really exciting for those kids, but they love working with Wilco, our fabulous science teacher, in the robotics club. We also have wonderful leadership. Student voice and agency is really important to us as a college. We listen to our students. We have students involved in panels for teachers when we're interviewing teachers. We have a very strong student leadership on both campuses. So David and I help oversee our student leadership on both sites, and we listen to our students and we hear feedback. Today I had a lovely meeting online with our student leaders, about 25 of them, just seeking feedback on how the remote learning was going so that we can feed all this information back to teachers. So it's great to work with the kids and hear some of the amazing inputs that they have. We also have some wonderful trips opportunities. So we have a World Challenge where students go every second year. Last year they went to Nepal with the year 9s and 10s. That's why it goes every second year. So year 9s and 10s. Part of the challenge is that students in World Challenge try and fundraise to support themselves to go on World Challenge so that parents aren't solely responsible for paying for that trip. But of course, those kids had an amazing experience. They went to Nepal. At Kathmandu, they were involved in the building of another room for a school there. They did trekking, they camped in the Himalayas, a wonderful, amazing experience for a month with some teachers. The Great Big Bike Ride, of course, our students go away every second year for a week there. Our students were going on space camp to NASA this year. Unfortunately, we don't believe that's going to be able to go ahead for obvious reasons, but that will certainly happen again sometime in the future when it's safe to travel again. It's safe to go to America, and those students I know they're going to be disappointed, but we hope that we'll be able to give them that opportunity as soon as possible. We've also got a performing arts trip going next year. It's supposed to be in April to New York. that might go a little bit later in the year. So it's students who are involved in dance, drama, music, theatre have been given an opportunity, and there's about 45 of those students going on that trip. Of course, New Caledonia for French immersion, a ski trip every year, so students go up for several days to Mount Buller. So lots and lots of opportunities for students to go on amazing trips at Sandringham College. So before I finish, thank you. Thank you for being part of our virtual tour. Thank you for your patience with all of the technology. We weren't sure how this was going to go. Sandringham College is an amazing place. We are in a wonderful growth stage, and it's through the leadership and the structures and, of course, the passion of all, not just the principal team, the leading teachers, all of the teachers in the college and their drive. Something we're really well known for is the way we care about our kids, and we care about every individual kid. We care about their well-being, we care about their success, we care about them becoming fine young people for the future. So we hope that in the future you'll be able to experience and come in and see the school in action. Not sure when that will be as yet, but come through and walk through those classrooms and see it happening. So certainly, as Amy said before, our buildings are old in some aspects, though we do have some nice new buildings as well, but it's what goes on inside those buildings that really count. It's the passion, it's the teaching and learning, and it's the way we work with our kids to achieve the best that they can be. So I'm actually going to invite you now at the end of this presentation, just going to show you some amazing music students. So if you're really interested in music, please stay on and just watch a little film clip of our music students. So on behalf of all of us here at Sandringham College, good night, and we wish you all the best in your venture in looking for schools for your son or daughter. Good night.
This video is for parents interested in enrolling their child into Year 7 at Sandringham College in 2021. Hello and welcome to Music at Sandringham College. It's an exciting time to be a music student at Sandringham with the support of the principal, Amy, and the administration. The music program is undergoing major change in order to keep in line with the college's values of respect, integrity, community, excellence and creativity. We want your child to take part in that experience at Sandringham. And to do this, the college is offering instrumental lesson scholarships on a range of instruments to students enrolling in Year 7 at Sandringham College in 2021. Scholarship students will receive free weekly lessons on their chosen instrument and become part of the beginner band with a weekly rehearsal. To support families, Sandringham is also offering rental instruments if requested. Music is an exciting part of the curriculum, and it gives students an outlet to be creative, work with their peers, meet performance deadlines and aim for excellence. My name is Luke Devonish, Head of Instrumental Music, Years 7 to 9 and Ensemble Coordinator, and I wanted to thank you for the opportunity to talk about the exciting instrumental lesson scholarships at Sandringham College. If you have any questions, please feel free to email myself, luke.devonish@education.vic.gov.au, or you can call the school on 8599 0500. Thank you.
just thought I'd say thank you everyone for being online, and good night. We're going to stay online for another 5 minutes to about 10 minutes to about 15:15. And then if you have any further questions, by all means, please contact us through our email address and we'll endeavour to answer them. And as soon as we can, we will be offering small group tours back at school, but we hope to see you here in our Sandy community next year. Take care, stay safe and stay warm.